Good morning, sir. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. So let us start the session now. On behalf of VELAMMAL Institute of Technology, I would like to welcome all the participants, dignitaries, respected HOD, my dear faculty members, for a second day of AICTE-sponsored Sttp on Assessment in Engineering Education, a Pedagogical Approach. Once again, I would like to express my very good morning to one and all. And also, I would like to express my sincere thanks for giving me an opportunity to welcome the gatherings. Now, I will be briefing about the objectives of Sttp. Assessment is considered as the most important role in steering the learning process. However, we cannot confine to one particular methodology as the best assessment method for a course. An assessment plan helps in selecting the right testing method and decides on the relative weight of each assessment for the final result of a course. This also helps to ensure that the assessment addresses the intended learning outcomes, which makes an assessment plan a helpful tool for examiners and an important instrument for quality assurance. An assessment matrix is designed to ensure that all the selected learning objectives are covered in the assessment, which helps to make certain that the assessment will be both valid and reliable. This is done by using different methods to set the cutoff score by using rubrics. The participants will be put forward to apply quality criteria for the construction of assessments and assessment items to improve the quality of assessments and education, which have huge impact on the future education and careers of students. Now it's my duty to inform all the participants about rules and regulation of AICTE sponsored Sttp. I kindly request all the participants to listen to the rules carefully and follow these conditions meticulously. Number one guideline is the participants are solicited to attend all the sessions using Zoom app. So we request you not to skip any of these sessions and log into Zoom app using your registered email ID only. Change your profile name with participant ID, which was mailed by us in Excel file already. Participants are requested to mute your microphone and camera during the sessions. All are required to join in our WhatsApp group. Link is available in the participation confirmation mail. As per AICTE norms, 80% attendance and minimum 60% score to be secured in all the assessments, which is mandatory to avail the certificate. Feedback and attendance in Google Forms will be posted at the end of every session after the question and answer session in the chat box only. Assessment in Google Forms will be of MCQ type, short answer type, etc. Submit the assessment through Google Forms only, which will be posted in WhatsApp group at the end of the day. Assessment forms must be submitted before next day 9:30 a.m. after which link will be disabled. All the participants are requested to download apps which are instructed by the experts during the session as a part of activity in Sttp. If you have any query, please raise your hand in Zoom app. Our session coordinator will assist you. Participants are requested to type all your questions in chat box alone, which will be answered by the experts at the end of session. Participants are requested not to post any verbal crutches, example, good morning, good afternoon, and okay like this in chat box. All the recorded virtual sessions will be available in our YouTube channel at the end of respective slots. And the last guideline is, if any queries regarding technical issue, inform through WhatsApp group. Now, once again, I request all the participants to follow these guidelines in order to receive the certificate from AICTE without any hurdles. Now, it's my privilege to highlight about the speaker's profile to all the gathering. A very good morning to all. On behalf of VELAMMAL Institute of Technology, I would like to welcome all the participants, dignitaries, respected HOD, my dear faculty members, for this second day of AICTE sponsored Sttp on Assessment and Engineering Education, a Pedagogical Approach. So it's my privilege to highlight about the speaker's profile to all the gatherings. The speaker today is Dr. Janardhanan Ganga Tulasi. He is an associate professor of civil and environmental engineering and head of Center for International Affairs and Center for Curriculum Development, Planning and Coordination at National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research, Chennai. Dr. Janardhanan has over 18 years of research, teaching and consulting experience within the broad fields of civil, environmental engineering and engineering education as well. His research expertise includes technology-enabled teaching learning, assessment and evaluation, development of MOOCs, accreditation, academic quality framework and academic auditing, learning spaces, blended approach, active and experimental learning, sustainable development and education, environmental remediation, solid and hazardous waste management and landfill engineering, life cycle assessment and sustainable construction materials. He has received funds from various funding agencies like ITEC, DST, World Bank, MHRD, PWD, and several prominent state government and industries. His research work includes laboratory studies, field expertise, field experiments, computer modeling, ultimately leading to fundamental advances and practical solutions to the real world problems. Dr. Janardhanan has coordinated more than 20 international training programs and trained around 400 international delegates from worldwide across 68 countries globally, like Afghanistan, Algeria, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Cambodia, Colombia, Ethiopia, Egypt, Fiji, Indonesia, Iraq, Jordan, Kenya, Malaysia, Maldives, Mexico, Myanmar, Nepal, Nigeria, Palestine, Poland, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Uganda, Vietnam, Zimbabwe. So there are about 68 countries, so nearly 400 international delegates has been trained. So I chosen the countries which are easy to pronounce and skip some of the countries which are difficult to pronounce. Sorry to say this. He is also serving as a reviewer for various journals and international conferences. Dr. Janardhanan has received fellowship and awards from various organizations like UNESCO invitation to the Asia Pacific Regional Seminar on MOOCs for higher education, Institution of Engineers India Young Engineering Award, American Society of Civil Engineering, Illinois Section Geotechnical Award, Swiss Federal Institute of Technology Fellowship, University of Illinois Doctoral Fellowship. Also holding several memberships from Society of Engineering, American Society of Engineering Education, American Society of Civil Engineer, International Water Association, Indian Society of Technical Education, Indian Geotechnical Society, National Solid Waste Association of India, Institute of Engineers. He pursued his doctorate degree from University of Illinois, USA, and bachelor's and master's degree from College of Engineering, India, Anna University. Last but not the least, he has been invited by foreign countries for delivering a technical talk like USA, Germany, China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and Malaysia. So such a eminent personality we have today with us as a speaker. Really, we are all very much blessed to have a research person of such a huge profile. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now let me hand over the session to you, sir. Thank you, sir. Time is yours. Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you. It's my pleasure. And thanks for a good word, sir. And let me start the session. One of the unique topic, assessment. Assessment is a favorite topic of us. And even in Swayam MOOC, we have developed a course on assessment, student assessment and evaluation. And as Sir was mentioning today, I was offering our Ministry of External Affairs special course on Maldives, quality assurance. That's the reason I'm just turning once again, because here one more laptop with this thing I've forgotten, because 16th to 27th Maldives program was there, but I didn't mark it in my calendar because we didn't have the financial funding from the ministry. So we were waiting for Ministry of External Affairs. Since it's a special program, only one day we got all the participants from nomination from Maldives and we started. That's a hiccups which I had. And it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to start on student assessment. Yesterday, I've seen a timetable. Professor Bapla from our NITTTR system, he has delivered some lecture. And let me start sharing the screen. And I hope my presentation is visible to the participants. Is it visible, sir? Okay, hopefully it's visible.
Visible, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let me quickly, because 10:30 to 12, I think 12:30. The session is up to 12:30, no, sir? 12 o'clock, sir.
12 o'clock, sir. 12 to 12:30.
12, sir. Up to
Participant discussion, sir.
Okay, 12 o'clock. And the things, and as usual, the assessment session has some small survey in the beginning. Survey in the sense not to question it, just to make you free at ease. That is the first part I have. And the second part, what I have is, last part I have is a quiz, a small quiz on assessment. It's not to test your knowledge. It is just to make you at ease. That is it. So I have given what all the thing which we are going to do. It's insight about student assessment, because they gave a very broader topic: fundamental of assessment, characteristics of assessment, and rubrics. So all the three, I put it together as an insight about student assessment. Just let's take some insight and let's know what is the tool we are using it for measuring the students' performance. Because Government of India also started a student assessment, and to develop that course and come from the funding agency. Before starting the lecture, let me put the disclaimer. And expressed are purely my technical perspective. It does not represent the organization to which I am affiliated. I hope it is there and connection is there, because suddenly the internet connection is unstable. Something is coming. Okay. We have to remember in this lecture the content expressed, because now we are talking in terms of outcome-based education. Outcome-based education. You have to remember, in outcome-based education, the fundamental principle: learning is fixed, learning time varies. Colorful pencils, like a colorful pen, different type, different variety, diversity. But at the end of the day, we want the minimum required standard. I should be expert chef. I want they have to be in the position to make a minimum requirement standard. Madam, class madam. Thank you. So we have to minimum required standard. We have to. So that's the way the system works. How the minimum required standard, how it is going to work. So we have to discuss what we can act, what manner we can do the things, what manner we can make the things in a specified manner. That is the ultimate we have to remember, because we have to bring everyone to common minimum level. That we have to be very careful. So the learners of different caliber, so everyone have to bring minimum level. So if you observe in the case of fundamentals of outcome, this outline is, so I'm just going to focus about the poll. We are having a poll, we are having some linkages, and the characteristics they asked me to focus. I'm just going to talk about two characteristics, very predominant characteristics: validity and reliability. Validity and reliability. And let me put insight and takeaways. Lesson captured. So infusion of, because they want to focus on rubric, be focusing on rubrics. I will be focusing on rubrics. I will be focusing on the quiz. Small quiz will exist. This is the fundamental which I want to start the today's session's outline. And let me start with the poll, because if 1969 not performing early days, the parents and voting in the class. So 1969, you have to remember, if the students are not performing, the parents were shouting. But nowadays, if the colleges, I'm not pinpointing any colleges, but there are very wonderful colleges out there. If the grades are not proper, if the results are not good, the teachers have been sacked from the. Even I know one of the very good which got a 6 years accreditation in the Tier 1 category of NBA accreditation. So they are the model institute, but they were giving increment to the students based on the student result, but which we were justifying with the report. The validity does not mean the students are performing well, because now we have written an article. Most of them we are they are not employable. They don't know the fundamentals, but they are getting a job in a different scenario. So there is some mismatch in the system. That only we have to know. So that we are going to discuss about the later part of the characteristics. So, and we have a unit assessment. So, but assessment predominantly focus on three different domains. One is cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. Three domains the assessment focus. But unfortunately or fortunately, we are having a same yardstick to measure the student caliber. That is a big problem. And sometimes we give them an environment which is not going to play an important role, which is not going to play an important role. One second.
Dr. Janardhanan? Good morning. Is it audible? Yeah. I'm audible to you.
So sometimes the testing environment also not realistic or replicate the real world situation. We are giving a hypothetical problem, even the PhD problems, master's thesis or bachelor's thesis. The students sometimes work on a hypothetical problem, practically possible or practically feasible. I am not telling doesn't need, but when we embark certain problems, we have to see how far is practically acceptable. So we have to work on it. And first, every time we are questioning, are you qualified? So it is not the question of are you qualified? It is a question of all are qualified. It is a question of all are qualified. There is no question of are you qualified? There is a question of all are qualified in the case of a outcome-based assessment has to be focused on all are qualified, not on are you qualified. Okay. So that is a question which we have to remember, and which we are going to start the quiz with the poll. And you have to remember the great teachers are made, not just born. Only thing you have to be ready for the journey, and we have to work. Let me go to menti.com, and I request the participants to go to menti.com, the code 52833, and let me start with the menti.com. So let me go to the menti.com because I've imbibed, but somehow the charts are not okay. Let me go to menti.com. Where is the Mentimeter? Okay. Okay, I opened the Menti. I hope so. Participants to go to menti.com and type what I have given the code. Let me work on it. So let me work on it, and let me focus on it. Assessment slides. I have given 3 questions. So I'm just putting it in the share. I'm just giving the code, the copy link. I'm giving it in the chat box. Either you can click the chat box. I can give the chat boxes. Good. I'm putting it to everyone. Click in the chat box or let them go to menti.com and let them type the code. Let them go to, let them type the code. Let me present it. Let them go to menti.com. Let them type, because either you can do either one way or other way. It is that the voting is not closed. Yesterday I have closed voting because so to avoid. Okay, either you can click the link or it. First, what concerns do instructors have in assessment? Select the because when it comes to assessment, these problem I am getting in the assessment set. These are the my perspective. So I request the audience. There are around 7 participants are there. Sorry, 71 participants. I request 71 participants. Kaliappan sir is host and Basi co-host. Maybe several co-hosts are there, but I request the participants and kindly go to chat box, and I request them to go to menti.com, use the code or link in the chat. I have given the link in the chat. I request the participants and answer the question. Click the link and answer. Okay, fantastic. First opening batsman started. Students are often confused with about what instructors want them to do. Perfect. Amazing. Perfect. Amazing. 75 participants. How many participants? 7. At least minimum 20 to 25 people should answer. Because I have seen some places in Kerala when we deliver lecture, if 100 participants are there, I will get 90 participant response. I am not comparing apple and oranges. Sometimes it all depends upon, because you ask the questions which you are going to ask me also a question, because I just request the participants to have a thought of why it is happening and how it is happening. I just want the participants to ponder upon it. It is not something which traffic. I am just going to discuss for some time, going to listen for a certificate, because AICT, they started a lot of engineering colleges. They gave approval. Then engineering collapse. Now what happened? They're sponsoring. So due to webinar, now the webinar concept also, training concept also is taking a different position, because approving authority cannot be an implementing authority and see. So that's fundamentally because there are norms. Because for example, US recently I worked with the October one workshop where we talk about the midfield data, that is data which we are working on. Like that, the statistics part, the regulatory. But I have observed the corona become a pandemic. About corona, now the webinar become an epidemic. So now webinar become an epidemic everywhere. Webinar everywhere. This thing, and a lot of training programs online and everything. It's fantastic, fantastic. The things are different and things are superb also, because so the things are ultimately different perspective. So which we have to remember. That is it. Okay, fantastic. So 21 people have answered. What concerns do instructors have in assessment? Select that all apply. Fantastically, you guys have told. Yes, of course, the students are often confused what instructors want them to do. Fantastic, sir. This we call it as a content validity, and construct validity is a problem in the question paper. Because I used to go to academic audit to be frank, quantum of a dozen universities and autonomous colleges, we are going as an academic auditor. When we go as an academic auditor, what we observe, is it the answer sheet of the bright, that is a top student, bottom student, mean, in the curve of, we will make a curve, and we accordingly we will take it. We observe whether the students did a mistake. Is it because this thing, or is it mainly question paper difficulty, or it is because of the question framing difficulty? That was a question which we used to ask. Yes, of course, students are often confused about what instructors want them to do. It is hard to figure out students are learning. Yes, of course, because through assessment, we don't know the students are learning or not. Because sometimes what we believe, the assessment is not the only criteria. Because I have just shown you the quote by Professor Gronland, because he is known as the father of assessment, and he has written the objectives, how to write an objectives. So if you observe, he has clearly told evaluation depends upon guessing, bluffing, all those issues. In such situations, I don't know how far it is going to be true, or how far I am just going to take into consideration. That is also a big problem which we have to think over it and ponder upon it. So, and it is not going to be this thing. So that is the one issue which we have to answer. And third, student cheat during assessment. Fantastic, because we conducted a work on very famous engineering college in Andhra Pradesh. They have a ranking, and they are also one of the model NBA this thing. So when we did the study, what happened? We asked the students what are the different ways to cheat the teacher during the examination, because this is one which we want to study the student perspective of examination. We told we won't reveal their identity. We never revealed their identity, everything. I'm not revealing which college. I'm not revealing the identity of the students. And what happened when we did the research testing? So we observed the students came with wonderful, creative idea how to cheat the teachers in the examination. Yes, because no one teaches the students how to copy in the examination, but still they come up with a good idea. That is the fantasticness of the students. So that is a way which we have to think upon. So it is always students ought to get student engaged, because one of the engineering college in near Kovilpatti, we did when we went for some study, we went for the training program, and the principal was a good friend of me and a good mentor for me, and he was telling Janardhan, because when I was in US, he came to US for a visit to the college, so we had a good relationship with him. So he was telling Janardhan, I am giving a good students, 3 of our students, their students are supposed to be a good mark holders, but they are not sitting in the 3-hour examination. The students, as soon as they completed this thing, they are escaping from the hall, and examination is not engaging. It is not challenging to them, because you have to remember the fundamental definition of the education. Learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of evaluation. Learning is a product of how you are going to engage the audience, play an important role in the evaluation. So that I think how we are going with the part, how we are going to. So whatever you answered, you are told is. Let me move to the next question. Next question. Assessment. Okay, fantastic. Already the 4 people have told. Assessment is easy for the following content. So when I frame the question, when I want to test assessment, it's easy, because we set question paper for several competitive exam, and we have been given several challenges, things. This you have to do, that you have to do, that way you have to make it. But whereas some university question paper setting is very easy for us. We can take from exam some books and we can give it, and university also does not provide the proper objectives or outcomes of what the question paper need to be set. That is there. So in such situation, it's very easy. I always comment. So in such situation, for which subject the assessment, creating assessment is easy? Is it easy for procedural knowledge, or is it easy for factual knowledge? But it is easy for conceptual knowledge, metacognitive knowledge, concept, skill, perpetual mode track, affective domain, and communication skill. For which question it's easy or difficult? Because last time, how many people have answered? Around 22 have answered, 24, 22 have answered, is that correct? And now if I'm getting only 6, please participants kindly be interactive, because then only we can have. Next part is your part. You are going to ask the question. So please kindly be cooperative and just take this thing. Okay. So let me wait. Only 7 people have told. 7 people. Then I will. Okay. Then I will explain the concepts. So let me just check. Let me just check with the participants, and over around 9 people have answered. Only more than that. I just want to know silent, or they switched on the system. They are doing other work, because this happens sometimes. Since we have we should not get away with it, because we have to have a constant assessment and constant. Because sometimes in our training program, if you're not answering the questions, quizzes, polls that is taken as attendance, then obviously the people will be alert. I have seen because Venkat is good friend, and as soon as he joined from the military, I was there for a Delhi meeting, and I stayed one day extra because of him for the ministry. Venkat sir is very good, and this thing. So I just want to just check it. Only 15 people have told. Okay, let me put it. So generally, the creating assessment for a fact is easy, sir. Anything for remembrance, it's very easy. I can just ask a question, define, ask from a memory question. Those things are factual, and it's very, very difficult to set a question paper is metacognitive. Metacognitive is a higher level, synthesis level. It has its own or its own this thing. And procedural knowledge and concept Procedural knowledge is easy, but because sometimes if we are basically framing the questions on understanding level, we are not framing the questions on to test the conceptual, because we are framing the question to check whether they are doing the understanding or not. That is the main problem, which it's not the problem, it is a scenario what exists. We take a score and see the reliability, difficulty index, discrimination index. We not mean only with this thing, because we did some universities academic audit where we see the reliability score and also we see the discrimination index, difficulty index of the question paper, because that is a need of the hour. Because you see any GRE exams, TOEFL exam or any GMAT, because those exams not only scientifically designed, those exams are also made into think from a different perspective. So we always focus on how this has to be done, how this has to be focused, or how this has to be worked upon. So that is a major criteria which we have to be very careful when we are designing the things. We have to see how it works, and what way it works, because that is a scenario which I always prefer. I always prefer what way it works, because that is a need of the hour. So let me put it a point. Only 21 people have told. Last time 22. I don't know who was the one person who last time he voted, but this time he absconded from voting. I don't know what is the reason. I don't know, friends. Just let me check it. What has happened to them? And I don't know. Maybe I don't know what has happened to him. Okay. I will just check it. What is the scenario? Okay, what is the scenario and how it works, so that they will get an idea of how to work on it, and it gives a different perspective for everyone. So that is okay. So only 21 people. Okay, sir, fantastic. I will sum it up quickly. So if you observe assessment, okay, some people are giving in the chat box, I think. Link, sir, I cannot see the link, sir. Link for the poll, sir. Okay. Oh, Kalipan sir has answered. I didn't notice, sir. Sorry. Okay, Kalipan sir has answered. I cannot see the link. Srinivas Rajneesh sir, link, sir, and VIT Sttp Dr. Susan madam. Yes, I have network issue. I was logged out. Kalipan sir, timely we are requested to speaker already, sir. Dear one, please know that audio is not proper in between audio breaks. Yes. Okay, I didn't notice. Okay, I have seen VIT Nandayala Venkatrama has answered in between audio breaks. I didn't notice, sir, because I think audio is this thing. It is there. So we will work upon it. And I hope the audio is audible. If not, I will put it headphone. I will put the headphone and I will contribute it. Okay. So 24 people have answered. Okay. So I will sum it up quickly. The assessment is generally easy for following content. So assessment is easy for following content. It is easy for factual knowledge. Is it easy for conceptual knowledge? Is it easy for procedural knowledge? And easy for factual, conceptual, and procedural knowledge. Skill, you have to think. Affective domain. When you are measuring affective domain, it is very difficult to make, because you have to see the performance assessment is different. So I have to work accordingly to the performance assessment. And communication skill also these days, it's very easy, because we have well defined this thing is there. Communication skill is also very easily we can these days you can measure and you can work on it. Communication skills. No problem. So assessment is for procedural knowledge, conceptual. No problem. So assessment is easy for the following content: procedural knowledge, factual knowledge, conceptual knowledge, skill, affective domain, communication skill is easy, and other thing is difficult. What question comes to your mind about assessment? ask us. Let us explore together. Let us together explore the thing. And I just want the participants resume scroll. Okay, enter to scroll. So I want the participants to put the question. Speaker sir, can you please explain the content of assessment with example? Yes, I will give the, because Sundarajan sir, I am explaining the content of assessment with examples. Content of example, what you mean is about for each procedural knowledge, conceptual knowledge, or now I will be explaining. I will be explaining factual knowledge, focus on the facts and figures, which will be focused on the remember level or knowledge level as per the modified or Bloom's or any taxonomy, whatever you speak. And because yesterday I've seen Boplap sir has given the fundamentals. That is the reason I am just covering the second part. Let me ask the question. Let me shoot up the question. What question comes to your mind about assessment? Let us ask, because if whatever the question comes to your mind, please answer. Please ask it. Discuss the fundamental components of hybrid electrical vehicles. So I am asking related to assessment, sir, not related to any content, because the two things are there here. You have to remember, as a content expert, I can discuss on sustainable development, civil engineering aspect, how it works out. But when it comes to the hybrid electrical vehicle, you are describing the, I am just asking how student explore the skill, their skills to assessment. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will answer. I just want to take the questions. Then we will be focusing on one by one, sir, one by one. So I will be just focusing on one by one, and I will be focusing on the core issues, because how the things are going to work out, how the things are going to be there. Okay, rubrics and Bloom's taxonomy, test of the knowledge, and understanding the content of the clear content, everything. Okay, test of the knowledge. So one question. Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm listening. Yes, sir. Okay, no, no. Now I opened. You can join. You can join. You can join, Firias. It. Yes, yes. Thank you. That is called from Maldives, and some person has to join. Okay, students are usually frank and honest in their assessment and of their performance and that of their peers. Yes, fantastic. So how to make the students? I asked, assessment consists of explanation of working condition and application, test the knowledge of candidate, understanding the content by clear the candidate, and creating analogies by describing every concept. What questions comes to your mind? And when you talk about assessment, okay. So that is it. That is it. That is it. That is it. Okay. So it is good. It is good. I am just getting it. It is good. It is good. It's good. ஏன் கொடுத்தாங்க எவ்வளோ இதுவா இருக்கு அது இல்லைன்னு சொல்லு சார் கிட்ட இருக்குன்னு சொல்ல வேண்டியதானே ஒன்ஸ் அகேன் சார் என்ன My mic is muted. Sorry, there was some question in the analogies. How analogies can be created? Yes, sir. We will discuss one by one. I will try to focus on it. Resume scroll. Let me. I don't know. Maybe the participants have answered. Remembering level. We need to answer. We need to answer with it. Okay, fantastic, sir. Fantastic. You have answered to the maximum of my questions. I really appreciate. I really appreciate, and I really appreciate your patience, and I really appreciate your commitment also. I really appreciate, and this is what we want to work on it, and how we will work. We will just see, and because if I ask because the coordinators are also asked me to focus on the rubrics. So I will be focusing on rubrics. Let me exit. I will just look into the questions and I will be focusing you and I will be answering upon. And I am very much thankful for the patience, this thing. So it was a good this thing and you have answered everything, most of the things. Because let me take a small joke and I thought a strip how to whistle. Because there was a comic. He's telling, I thought Strip is his friend dog and he's telling, I thought Stripe how to whistle. And he's telling, I don't hear him whistling. And he told, I said, I taught him, but I didn't say he learned it. There is a difference between teaching and learning. We are teaching it, but are the students learned it? That is a question. So the distinguished aspect of teaching and learning is assessment. Assessment is that one helps us whether the students have learned or not. Because even when the family members, when we ask us to buy something, some groceries, after some telling, they will be asking, repeat what I have told. The reason is it's assessment. It's assessment to know how far you have grasped the thing, how far you have learned, how far the teaching is taking place. So that is the reason. So I am showing you some picture. If I ask you to tell what comes to your mind as soon as you seen this picture, what comes to your mind? If I ask what comes to your mind, immediately you will be telling several things. You will be telling several aspects. You will be telling several aspects. You will be telling several aspects which comes to your mind. Put it in the chat box. Put it in the chat box. Put it in the chat box. So what comes to your mind when what comes to your mind when we are focusing on the aspect, when we are focusing on the assess this photograph, you are seeing this photograph, what comes to your mind? Friends, just put it. Someone is told he is reading something. I'm not reading something. Okay, fantastic. Okay, he is reading something. Jagannathan, Jagan, Anthony, I don't know. You see, you are so much gender bias. You are told you, he is. Okay, he or she is reading. Okay, someone was told very carefully, Subbudu Nagaraj, very cleverly told he or she is reading something. Fantastic, sir. Fantastic, fantastic. You are reading something. Fantastic. Be free and be frank. But don't tell for my sake. I'm asking you very open question, my dear friends. I'm not just going to take it anything serious. What comes to your mind as soon as you see this picture? As soon as you see this picture, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? Be free, and I'm not going to take it anything, sir. I am a highly practical and pragmatic person. I know because I was asking certain times, and I have a good example. Jijang University, I was just taking some lectures. At the time, I was asking one unique question. The students, what they gave, it was making me funny, and till that semester, I enjoyed. The person waiting for alarms, perfect, perfect, perfect. He is playing the video games. Maybe Deepak Aravind, you are addict to video games, or your kids are playing video games, or you are, or he or she is playing video games. Fantastic. But I have shown this photo to one of the college. They are telling he is searching for a Wi-Fi internet, free Wi-Fi internet, begging, and terrorist, winter, because he is having a warm cloth. Whether you have seen this picture before, sir, you have not seen the picture before. You have seen the picture for the first time. When you're seeing the picture for the first time, what you're doing, you are trying to correlate, what you have seen in your life already. Because what happened when I went to Kerala first time, they gave me palamburi. I never tasted palamburi as palamburi. I was trying to correlate palamburi with my bhaji, what I had in South India, in Tamil Nadu. Second thing, when I tasted this one, when I tasted the Peseret in Andhra Pradesh, I never tasted Peseret as Peseret. I was trying to compare with my dosa, what I had in Chennai. You remember masala dosa, what we have, what these guys are green color dosa. Is it a green dosa or organic dosa or something? What it is there? Because I have tasted upama as separate food and this is separate food. But I was trying to compare the thing what we have already experienced in the life, because we never take the new thing as a new thing. We try to compare or comprehend the abstract concept only by comparison. When you take any new fruit, you just assume. You never taste the new fruit as new fruit. This fruit tastes like me, what I have tasted already. That's the learning takes place, because as a faculty members, when I looked into the picture, I was begging, mother, poverty, freezing, ragged, dirty, loss, fate, several things came to your mind. Several things came to your mind. And uniquely, you have also answered. You have answered fantastically. You have answered fantastically. You have answered. But the condition is, you should remember. You should remember these are all depends upon your prior knowledge. Because anything new, when you're asking, it all depends upon your this thing. When you're talking in terms of validity and reliability of the examination, it also depends upon the prior knowledge of the examination. Because first time when you take the examination, you might feel. Second time, okay. Third time, you will have a different perspective. So that is the reason which you have to remember. So what you are going to comprehend the thing, because you never take a new thing as a new thing. We will try to correlate to the existing thing, what we have experienced in the life, That is the main thing which you have to remember, sir, which you have to remember. So that is the thing which I want to emphasize it. I want to place on record. So that is the reason. So then comes, someone has told something in the chat. I don't know. Once again, chat is glowing red box. 2 chats are there. Okay, she is praying. She's thinking about something. Fantastic, sir. Of course, she's praying. Akhil and Ari, she's playing. Yes, of course. Are we doing old things in a new way, or is it a new thing in a new way? Because nowadays assessment, we have a different perspective, because we generally take 2 or 3 sessions on assessment. We try to get a different perspective, how the assessment is viewed, how the assessment could be visualized, everything. So we have to remember, because assessment comes into 2 different categories, because one, we call it as a qualitative assessment. Second, we call it as a quantitative assessment. So we have to have the 2 different perspective, and 2 different perspective, we have to work on it. That is the basic reason for assessment. So that is the basic thing which you have to remember for the assessment, because that is the reason, nothing more than that. And one thing you have to remember, this is the most important time to be in the education. This is the most important time to take care about the education. This is the most important time to create the impact in the education. So this is the most important time where you have to remember how we are going to visualize a thing. It all depends upon your aspect. So how you are going to do it, it all depends upon this thing. So let me quickly go through it, because it's already 11:15. Groundland, as I told you, the students go to college or school to learn, not to take tests. That you have to remember. They go to the school or colleges to go to learn, but not to take tests. And tests cannot be used to indicate the students' absolute level of learning, because we don't know. This test is going to be this thing. We don't know. But still, we believe, we presume. The test is the major item. Which going to mark is the item which going to define. That is the item which you have to remember. Sir. So all the tests do away in ranking achievement, because the relative ranking is influenced by guessing, bluffing, and subjective opinion of the teacher, and also scoring. Because we are human beings. There might be some subjective opinion which we might have, which we may not, which we cannot get away, which we cannot do it as such, because it all depends upon how the subjective opinion is there, how it is going to make the things happen. So that is the reason that you have to remember. So ultimately, you have to remember the teaching and learning process should do away with the assessment, and should depends upon the students' self-evaluation. It is there, because I will tell you, I have gone as an examiner for both masters, PhD, and somewhere I used to go for evaluation. So when I do go for evaluation, even for IIT, when we go for evaluation for the master's thesis, In the end of this thing, when I ask how much mark you expect, the students are so shy. They are not in the post, not in the shy. They are sometimes overconfident. They don't know how much mark they are in the position to evaluate, because this happens. The predominant sector of the people are still, they are not aware how much mark. The self-evaluation becomes a problem. But Groenland very categorically told, do away with the examination and depends upon the self-evaluation. So we have to remember. So in educational institutions or the knowledge hub, in the current day scenario, we call it as an education lab or knowledge scenario, everything, whatever we call it, educational scenario, knowledge hub. We always depend, we believe the education institution, the main role is to provide the knowledge, knowledge based on the knowledge, they have been graded. If you observe in the India only, I have observed the campus recruitment, everything. But in US, they call it as a job fair, which is arranged by the alumni affair. There won't be an even accreditation of ABET. They don't have a placement to this thing. But unfortunately or fortunately, here we believe too much on the this thing. We believe too much on the job. But ultimately in India, the score and grade depends upon the job. The job is going to depend. But the score and grade depends upon the formative assessment and summative assessment. Because formative assessment is a process assessment. The summative assessment is a product assessment. If you are focusing on a process is a bigger role. Then it will obviously make you to take a good thing. That is the one thing which you have to remember. Process assessment is very, very important rather than the product assessment. So the process assessment is going to redefine or going to play an important role or vital role in understanding the concepts. So that we have to remember. So that is there. And then challenges and solution. Challenges are predominantly we focus on content delivery and we are focus on content evaluation. That is the reason the students, after they graduate, they are finding it difficult for them to comprehend, for them to understand the things or anything, because we are focusing too much on the content aspect. That is a big problem which we are facing it. So we don't want to have the content aspect. We want them to take away with the context aspect, context aspect, because predominantly we are focusing on the content delivery. We don't want the students to focus on content delivery. We want to focus on context delivery. Assessment need to be on context delivery. Then it will be very superb and it will be very easiest task. So let us explore the future assessment. But the students are completely blindfolded in learning. Whatever you teach, because they will tell, no, sir, these things will not come in the examination. Last year question paper, if you are affiliated type question in institute, they have to no, sir, this why unnecessarily we have to focus on those aspects. Kindly forget. That is a thing which you have to this thing. This tactics used to be Hero Kamala Gase and Papanasa movie. Okay, I don't know what tactics. Okay, let's use the key. And where is the key? Key is it is impossible to redesign the students to fit into a system, but we can redesign a system for the students. It is because we cannot redesign a students. So already we have existing systems, and I cannot tell it is it right or is it wrong. I cannot focus. I cannot argue with them. I cannot make it with them. But only thing I can do it is I can focus. I can tell them, okay, this is the wrong, sir. This is the way which we have to work. That's the way that's the fundamentals. I can speak, because I cannot focus on the other aspects. That is the thing which you have to remember, sir. Ultimately, we have to focus on how the things works out. I cannot focus on the student, because it's ultimately we have to remember it is impossible to redesign the students because to fit into the system. So information is plenty, knowledge is plenty, and how we are going to connect the knowledge, that plays an important role. That is the way which works also. That is the way which works also. You have to remember. We have to remember how the knowledge is made. Because if the knowledge is not connected properly, its assessment is not proper. Even if they possess the knowledge, even if they possess the connections, it's going to be a big disaster. It's going to be a big disaster that you have to remember. It's going to be a big disaster which we may not be knowing, and we have to work on it. That is a fundamental which I wish to emphasize here, because even if the students are doing good away, but if they're not having proper assessment, it's going to be a big problem. Sometimes we will be astonished how the goat has climbed the top, but we don't know how the goat has climbed the top, because ultimately, because it's a way which the students feel for it, because it's a way which how we don't know, because we wonder how the goat has climbed up, but still we wonder, and we don't know what has happened to the goat. Okay, so that's the way the things work, and that's the way the things are also there. So we have to accept it, because sometimes we wonder how the students have did this much mark, how he got a mark. We wonder, because we never expect some students, because always, as I told you, it's bluffing, guessing. Not only bluffing, guessing, it is also depends upon how we work. So quickly we'll tell, ultimately the learning assessment, the validity is not to make your path comfortable, to make the students learning path comfortable. That's the way the assessment has to be focused. What is the next step for you? Next step for you is think big. How to think big. But let's quickly, we'll focus on the overview of assessment evaluation. There is a fundamental difference between assessment and evaluation. Assessment and evaluation. You have to remember, assessment, evaluation are not one and the same. We have to remember assessment are not one and the same, because assessment is different and evaluation is different. We have to focus on what exactly the assessment is there, what exactly the evaluation is there. If you observe the assessment, the word accessory comes from the Latin word to sit side by, where the students, the participants will be made to sit side by, in the sense what I mean is, so what we mean is that how the students are made to made comfortable, or how the students are, where the scope of improvement is there. That is the assessment. Whereas evaluation is the final. So assessment and evaluation are not one and the same. We have to remember. And the definition, the process of measuring something with the purpose of assigning a numerical value. We have to be very clear. Measurement, assessment, evaluation, three fundamental terminology. Once you get a clarity, you will enjoy the terminology. That is the assessment. And evaluation is nothing but the process of determining something, worth of something using some benchmark. Because we got 90 marks. 90 mark is a test we are measuring. That is through internal assessment. But what is the meaning of 90? Meaning of 90, is it a good? He is a satisfactory person. He is an excellent person. It all depends upon the worth of what we are comparing. Worth of what we are comparing. That is the thing which you have to remember, because ultimately it depends upon the worth what we are comparing it. What we are comparing itself. So ultimately you have to remember, evaluation is nothing but the qualitative measurement plus quantitative measurement, and qualitative plus quantitative plus value judgment. This part, the first part, quantitative description and qualitative description, is known as assessment, and second part is known as evaluation. With the combination of value judgment with assessment, we call it as an evaluation, So assessment and evaluation are not one and the same. Assessment and evaluation are not one and the same. We have to have a clear clarity what exactly the assessment is there, what exactly the evaluation is there. That way we have to be focused. Otherwise we will have a difference of opinion or difference of thought process. That is the thing which you have to be very careful, because ultimately the assessment is different, evaluation is different. That is a take home message which I want to give it. Assessment is quantitative measurement plus qualitative measurement. Assessment is quantitative plus qualitative measurement, because quantitative measurement we can measure through the various testing, but qualitative measurement you can measure only through rubrics. Because today, suppose if you are taking a coffee, if I am taking a coffee, the coffee, if you ask me the grade, I will tell the coffee is wonderful coffee, but some might tell the coffee is only satisfactory coffee. The qualitative evaluation depends upon your prior knowledge. It all depends upon the prior knowledge. Quantitative assessment and plus qualitative. Class करते हैं. Okay. Join பண்ணிட்டு Okay, join பண்ணிட்டேன். So qualitative assessment plus quantitative assessment plus value judgment. So there are three different types of assessment are there: preparatory assessment, for diagnostic assessment, preparative, formative, and summative. Preparatory, formative, and summative. There are three types of assessment are there, which guys should know, because what is preparatory, what is summative, what is this thing. Preparatory is something which you have to think upon it, because before starting the examination, we are evaluating whether this is correct or wrong. That is a preparatory, and this thing formative, then summative. So let me focus this. All the three combinations is a comprehensive. All the three things is comprehensive. It's a subset. Evaluation is a subset of assessment. Yes, sir. Correct. Evaluation is the subset of assessment. No. It's not a subset. Evaluation is nothing but assessment plus value judgment, because that is the this thing. Because assessment means where the improvement is there. Process definition. Evaluation is a final definition. What we give is evaluation, we call, sir. Evaluation we call. So that's the way the system works. That's the way the things works on evaluation and assessment, sir. So this is a note which I want to emphasize, because which I want to cover also, because the students need to focus on what is assessment and what is evaluation. Quickly, I will focus on other parts. So the formative testing is evaluation to learning. Diagnostic, because I will tell you very simple example. Today evening, I want to make a biryani at my home. If I want to make, no need biryani. If I want to make today at Maggie at my home, what I need to know, I have to go and check in my kitchen whether Maggie is available or not. If a Maggie is available, then no problem. If the Maggie is not available, what I have to do? I have to go to shop and I have to purchase the Maggie. That is the fundamental thing which I have to know. So format diagnostic is, before starting the process, you check whether the student possesses the minimum requirement knowledge to learn it or not. Because if he is not possessing the minimum knowledge, then it becomes a big problem for us. Because it becomes a big problem for us. We have to remember the students should have the minimum knowledge, should possess the minimum knowledge, and we have to accept it. The students possess the minimum knowledge. That is the which we have to take, which we have to focus on it. Sir. Yes. Diagnostic evaluation for learning, formative, and evaluation of learning, summative. So there are three types of evaluation, as I told you. Evaluation should be based on clear objectives, because I cannot evaluate, because as you told, assessment is the pinnacle which connects the two things, objectives and how you are going to frame the methodology. Because if you are not framing the methodology appropriately, and if you're not focusing on objectives, if the question paper sets a question paper, then he might call the question paper is not good. The reason is he doesn't know how to set the assessment. That is a big problem which you have to remember. So ultimately, we have to remember on how we have to set the question paper and how we have to make it a point. So it has to be based on set clear objectives. Based on the set clear objectives, we have to make it, and we have to be very careful about what are the different aspects of it. It has to be comprehensive, cooperative, used judiciously, and continuous internal part. First, define results to be measured, because assessment always comes under the back analysis. I should know how the results to be measured. So if I want the person to know how to drive the, should drive the car fantastically, that's the expected results. Then obviously I have to do the back analysis. So first, define the results and identify the data required and sources, because accordingly I have to work. Review existing methods, design the methods, implement and evaluate, and just check whether this is good or not. This is a pattern which generically we will follow, or we use it for making the assessment. Which we use it for making the assessment, because we generally use this thing for our purpose, because we use it for making the assessment. So when we talks in terms of assessment, I have told you, as I told you, you need to know about the two major terminologies which are used. One is the validity, second is reliability. So first one is the which I want to focus is assessment evaluation. Assessment is sit side by or accessory, where there is scope for improvement, where there is a scope for the improvement, where there is a scope for the improvement is accessory. Assessment is nothing but a quantitative measurement plus qualitative measurement plus value judgment, that is assessment. And second thing which I want to focus is the evaluation. Evaluation is nothing but the quantitative plus qualitative plus value judgment. That is the evaluation. I'm just sharing my screen, sir. I'm just taking the things out so that it gives a better clarity to you. And that is the evaluation. So evaluation is nothing but assessment plus value judgment. Once you know the assessment, once you know the fundamental of assessment, once you know the fundamental of evaluation, you should remember there are three different types of assessments are there. One is preparatory or diagnostic assessment. Before starting, you will just read GRE diagnostic test, TOEFL diagnostic, that is diagnostic assessment. Second comes a formative assessment. Formative is during the process. During the process, we are doing it. Why we are doing during the processes? We want to know how the process works, how the process works. That is a formative assessment. That is the formative assessment. And the final assessment is a formative assessment, that summative assessment, that is known as a product assessment. That is a product assessment. That is called as a product assessment. Okay, this is the fundamental of assessment. We call it as a norm referenced evaluation or criterion referenced evaluation. For example, criterion evaluation, outcome-based education focus on criterion referenced evaluation. It is not norm reference. Among the student community, we measure, okay, these students are performing good, these students are performing okay. So based on that, when you define something, that is a norm reference. Among the group, if you compare, criterion reference is you are keeping a criteria, you are checking whether they meet the criteria that they need to satisfy. For example, if you take a military examination, the people try to keep, you have to climb the wall. If you climb the wall, you got selected. That is a criteria. No, among the 10 people who came, one person has climbed 80% wall, second person has climbed 70% wall. Since the first person climbed 80% wall, that doesn't mean that I need to select them, because it is clearly tells you are fixing the criteria. Climbing the wall and jumping is the criteria, you get selected for evaluation. If you're not meeting the criteria, you're not going to select it. That is the reason you have to remember criterion-based evaluation and norm-based evaluation. This is the fundamental of evaluation. You have to remember quantitative measurement plus qualitative measurement, that is assessment. Quantitative plus qualitative plus value judgment is evaluation. So this is the one which you have to remember, sir, which you have to remember and which you have to be very strong in this thing. Second, our coordinators asked me to focus on characteristics of assessment. Assessment, if you tell assessment, the term assessment, so by default, you remember there are some characteristics are there. If you tell sambar, the sambar has its own characteristics, Sambar has its own characteristics. Similarly, so you have to remember the assessment means there is its own characteristics exist. Its own characteristics exist, which you have to remember, So the term validity and reliability are the two terminologies which we predominantly used for the assessment. For example, recently we have been asked for one of the international agency. We were making this thing because we want to frame the assessment where we were trying to set, because you remember one of the best assessment pattern is objective type. Objective type, it's very difficult to test. Objective type is the one which can be questioned in all levels of evaluation. All levels of evaluation we can work on it. That is a fundamental advantage of objective. But unfortunately, we are thinking objectives are very easy to do. Objectives are not easy to do, sir. Objective type questions are really difficult if you frame it with a purpose. Because recently, for our international agency, we were preparing something. When we prepare, we want to talk in terms of validity and reliability, because if all the students got 60%, and because we cannot tell is it correct or not, because it's a relative. Previously, they were telling the insulin level, BP level, they have increased, because validity, what test measure, what it intend to measure, that has to be there. For example, suppose if I ask a question with a right oval and followed by university or indigo or something, easily the student can guess and. So it should test the content, what intent to measure, because sometimes the guessing should not be there. All the above, none of the above, sometimes only B, only A, all the above is not the right pattern when you set the international level question papers. So validity refers, there are three characteristics, there are actually 6 characteristics. 3 today I will cover. One is validity, second is reliability, third is usability. Validity, it is valid and it is really close to the questions, so that you have to remember. So validity, whether the test includes a proper sampling of question to covers various topics and ability to be tested. For example, content validity we call. In Anna University syllabus, there are 5 units are there. Each unit we have to ask questions. That is there. Each unit two questions for 2 marks. Each unit some 16 mark questions. Some pattern is there. So that is including a proper sampling of all the items, all the topics, and ability to be tested. That is content validity. How you are providing the construct, because the question paper construct plays an important role to show the validity, because the validity is the predominant factor in the question paper. If the question paper is valid, it is reliable. But doesn't mean that if the question is having a reliability, doesn't mean that it should have a validity. That you have to remember. But always the question paper should be a valid question papers. So suppose if you ask this thing, if you know the Vatma's rule, then you will be in the position to answer it. Otherwise, you will find it difficult. What makes this question a correct question or answer or answer. So we have to be very careful how we are, because all the answers looks correct. But if you know the fundamentals properly, which mathematical operation has to be done first, which mathematical operation has to be done second, then you will be in the position to correct, because it is all the construct validity that matters a lot. Because to what extent the question's interpretation is going to be there, what results are free from error. So always we refer to the validity, then we go to the reliability. Reliability, how the reliability error, it is free from the error, whether question paper is posing error, or is it the first question and the fifth question of the same. In part 2, we are asking a question which also contains in part A. So part A question encompass in part B, then the reliability is not there. So which we do it in academic auditing, So validity means interpreting and using the assessment score, reviewing the characteristics. It should be inferred, it should be direct type of evidence, and it should be very specific. There are 4 different types of validity. Generally, we use it. What are the validity? Content validity, criterion validity, construct validity, or consequence validity we call it as a predictive validity. For example, for NEET exam, yesterday they released the NEET ranking system. But how they know that Sanjan from Tirupur will be perfect in medical? Because previously they predicted if the students perform good in physics, chemistry, and biology, he will be a better doctor because he has a good fundamentals. He will think faster. He will be in the position to comprehend. So he will be selected for that we call it as a predictive validity. And these students who perform well over a year, we observed, okay, they do well because they are not testing in doctor subjects. They are not testing in only biology. They are testing other skills. For example, when you do admission to masters in abroad, so they are asking quantitative, verbal, and analytical. How by these 3, how you tell the paper student will be best with the content knowledge, because they think, are you fast in thinking doing the things? Are you fast in thinking? Are you fast in comprehending the thing? Are you fast in providing analytical solution? That is it. So the 4 validities, what we call it as a content validity, construct validity, concurrent validity, predictive validity. Concurrent validity is, so rather than correlation, rather than logical method, that is correlation between scores. Because if you have the concurrent validity, if you keep the test today, and if you keep the same questions with the set to be, because we make all the people are not going to have the same questions in GRE, but still we tell the GRE test results are valid. And if you see Professor Lemke from University of Illinois, where he gives engineering mechanics, he gives the 3 different colors of question papers, A, B, C. But all the questions are not same. All the questions are not same, and all the these things are not same. So in such situation, so what method or what methodology we can adopt? That is a concurrent validity. Predictive validity is future performance, how we make it. So content validity, construct validity, concurrent validity, predictive validity, 4 validities we have to check it and we have to work on it. So accordingly, the things will be focused on this thing. So second criteria which affects inadequate sampling, questions irrelevant, ambiguity in the questions, unclear direction, inappropriate level of difficulty. Because part A I am keeping 1 level difficulty and part B I am keeping a paper difficulty. Then concurrent validity is not there. Because if I am seeing a knowledge level in all the levels, here I can call defines Darcy's law. Here I can call explain the law based on which the permeability of liquid works. So obviously he has to define the Darcy's law here. But the question might be paraphrased, or question might be same level, remember level, or knowledge level. But it has to be work on same. That is the concurrent validity we call. If it is not there, then it is difficulty of the test question, improper arrangement of the questions. So reliability is a consistency of measurement. If you tell today, if I tell tomorrow, how consistently I'm making the score. That is known as the reliability. So the reliability also plays an important role. For example, method of testing reliability is test and retest. We keep a Spearman rank correlation coefficient. We see parallel test or alternate form test. Split off method, we use it for internal consistency method, because this is for one of the very famous competitive exams. When we set a question paper, we gave a parallel form and split off method we used to check reliability is there or not. For example, when we make a testing, the first question and the 20th question more or less will be same. They are not one and the same. They are more or less same, to check whether your understanding is equivalent in the first question and second question. If you are answering first question and 21st question correctly, then reliability of the question paper is correct and your knowledge is correct. So we frame. They are not from the same content. Same question is not paraphrased. We used to call it as a reliability method, because we paraphrase it so that we make a difference, so that the reliability of the question paper is ensured. So, for example, I will show you a photograph. There are two types of reliability: intrinsic reliability, extrinsic reliability, where the poor quality of questions. I have a sample question papers. I have, maybe I can share it with the coordinators, because I can show them. Maybe based on this testing, I will plan, because a subjective evaluation by the scorer, that also affects the reliability, because sometimes, which we have observed in some universities evaluation, subjective scoring, it affects the evaluation, that you have to remember. So fisherman captures 100 kg of tuna fish, and he tells the tuna it is 130. The story is reliable, because always he captures 130. That is not a problem. But this story is reliable, but without being valid, because a valid test, he can tell 100 kg, but he can tell 130. Okay, this fish might be 130. But it is not valid, because we are not measuring it, but it might be reliable, because it is having. So reliability and validity, we always choose a bullseye. Everyone will be answering, but they all will be answering right. They all will be answering same, but doesn't mean that it is right, that you have to remember. So here we call it as a reliable, but not a valid. But whereas if everyone hits at the bullseye, it is reliable. Okay, that is the way reliability and validity testing we have discussed. And usually the usabilities, the ease of admission, time required, ease of scoring, ease of interpretation. Because of this score, I should not get into trouble. I should not get into any problem. So I need to know how the ease of administration is there and how I can work on it. And next part is a qualitative, because I have told you assessment is two part: quantitative measurement and qualitative measurement. Quantitative measurement, you can ask subjective question or objective type question. But qualitative, the results varies depending upon the person's prior knowledge. For example, if I am measuring taking a coffee today, I'm telling wonderful coffee, then I might have told another person is taking. For example, my friend Nazir, the coordinator, Nazir also Basim Nazir also took the coffee. But Nazir tell, okay, coffees are not fantastic coffee, easily. But Saravanan and Prabhavati are telling it's excellent coffee. But you remember, the same coffee, they have given a same coffee, but 4 people are giving a 4 different or more or less different answer or unique answer. In such situation, it is a qualitative evaluation, because in my life, I never came across coffee better than this. So I am telling excellent. But Nazir has already seen a fantastic coffee, maybe his family coffee, in the house they put a wonderful coffee, or tea, maybe. Tea he might have tasted, so he's telling, by compares with that and gives. The qualitative assessment always compare one thing with other, that gives a different perspective. So to make the qualitative assessment uniform, for example, project evaluation, seminar presentation evaluation, everything we call it as a qualitative assessment. For example, if I go to any interview panel or in university, any examiner, so we 2 different examiners, there might be 60 students or 30 students. 60 students, we cannot be examiner for all 60. We will be examiner for 15 or 20 students. Will be examiner. Another person will come for examiner. I might have given a mark which might be detrimental to them. He might give very lenient mark. So, but if we have rubrics, both of the evaluation, the error cannot be removed, but error could be minimized. That is the fundamental concepts of rubrics. Rubrics is qualitative assessment, when you evaluate, rubrics plays an important role. It is for qualitative assessment. To make a qualitative assessment into a quantitative number, we need a rubrics. There are two different types of rubrics, are there holistic rubrics and analytic rubrics. This is the rubrics. For example, I don't have time here because generally I used to screen some documentary. I used to ask the people to evaluate the documentary. But when they evaluate, each one will give a different comment. Because, for example, nowadays when I'm watching any documentary or movie, I am evaluating from the editorial point of view, because now UGC Swayam, I am in most of the evaluation committee and all those things. And NIFT, all the videos we were evaluating. So I took, because if a Sura report recently I watched it. So, but I was telling, no, this is not the editor, a costume designer made several mistakes, because it was portrayed, it is in that year, those years such risk concepts were not there. So it was wrongly, the costume designer was not proper for that movie. That is my perspective. I'm making a disclaimer also. So if you see, because I evaluated the movie from a costume perspective, someone would have evaluated a movie from health perspective, someone would have evaluated from aviation perspective. So it all depends. So we have to see content delivery. How it is that if you're taking coffee example, Saravanan, Prabhavati, Nazir and myself, we have to see how thick is the coffee is there, the sugar content is there, the hot chill, the temperature, the way in which they served the cup, in cup and saucer or tumbler or Kumbakonam tumbler or whatever this thing, whatever they served, it all depends upon the evaluation. Is it excellent, good or satisfactory or needs improvement? Because always there is no poor in rubrics, we always call need improvement, because in outcome-based education, there is no one is failed, they need some improvement, they need some time. Learning is fixed, but the learning time varies. That is a fundamental definition which we use it or which we comprehend it. So rubrics is a scoring scale to assess the performance. Performance assessment rubric is used rather than set of criteria rather than single criteria into single rubrics. The purpose of rubrics, who's outstanding, who's satisfactory, whose performance looks different, we have to measure and articulate and provide. So for process, physical, equipment, how they are handling, how the oral communication, work habit, everything, or construct objectives, essays, academic products, when we assign assignment, when we evaluate any paper, any conference. Recently, I was evaluating for American Society of Engineering Education. When we evaluate, they give a rubrics for us, because that gives a more clarity for us. Evaluation will be useful. So you should have a stated objective. What for the rubrics has been established. Criteria should be the level of performance and descriptors. So the scale, dimension and the descriptors. Performance criteria, scale and the descriptors need to be there. So analytic rubric and holistic rubric, or holistic rubric is like this: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and only one criteria. And this thing, analytic rubric is beginning, developing, as accomplished, and criteria 1, criteria 2. So that's the way we work on it. That's the way we work on it. And there is a wonderful site developed by National Science Foundation of United States that is known as a rubystar.forteachers.org, where you can develop your own rubrics, It facilitates the rubric development very easily. It facilitates the rubric development very easily. It will facilitate. I can show you the Ruby Star for Teachers, where you can develop the rubrics and where you can make it. So let me focus on Ruby Star. I will show you Ruby Star. Then I will have a small quiz. Then we will wind up. rubystarforteachers.org if you go. So where you can, because even in our Swayam courses we have to, I need to create rubric. I can create a rubric. Let me create a rubric for lab report or building a structure. I can create Dr. Janardhanan G. Concrete lab 9999, because I'm outside United States. Let by break, and I'm giving it up because background sources. Here it is 4 is excellent, 3 is good, 2 is satisfactory, 1 is needs improvement. Here I can change it. Some reputable international papers refer. I can, because it gives a guidance to you, because it doesn't make you blind. It makes material. What is the material? What is the calculation part? What is the data part? Something I'm just clicking arbitrarily, sir. And diagrams, how you are drawing, and finally how the conclusion has been made and how the summary and inferences are made. Okay, once you completed, you can submit it. You can get the rubrics easily, or you can download it in the form of Excel sheet and you can give it to the students, and you can put it, you can download as Excel spreadsheet and you can give it to the students. The students will have a different perspective. That is the advantage of the rubrics, because the rubrics plays an important role. Rubrics plays an important role in comprehending the difficult concepts. And rubric also plays an important role for us in working on a different perspective. As I told you, now Excel is downloaded, and you can download the Excel and you can make it. Excel, you can make it, and in the form of a rubrics, it is downloaded. So before starting it, okay, let me. Rubrics is downloaded in the form of Excel sheet. There are online several tools are there, sir. I just told this is, you can give it to the students. If you give it to the students, let them evaluate themselves. Because when you ask any student what happened to your mark, the student simply will tell, no, I did well, but the teacher didn't put the mark properly to me. Because the ultimate truth is, if you ask any student why you failed, he will tell, no, my teacher was not good. My student, all the stories he will tell. He never share the exact truth. The exact truth is he never studied properly. That is the reality. But what happens? Simply they will tell, no, question paper was tough, teacher was tough, out of syllabus, all those things they will tell. But they will not tell the exact this thing. They may not be telling. So that is the difficulty which you have to remember. So quickly, we will wind up the session with few slides are there. 12 o'clock, they told 8 minutes are there. I have a small quiz to be played with you guys. I request the participants to go to kaguth.it. I am putting it in the chat box. Kaguth.it. I request the participants to go to kaguth.it, and I ask them to. What happened? It is not going. One second, sir. One second. I'm just checking why it is not going. I don't know. Maybe to continue. I click correct. My goodness. Sometimes if the things goes wrong, it goes wrong at any cost. Hello. Good morning. Sir, I'm in a class. Can you call me after some time? Thank you. Sometimes if you're not picking up the phone, maybe we are in some meeting or some class, because sometimes we cannot save all the number. That is the reason. I'm just logging in, sir. Once again, I just want you to feel some quiz. That is the reason I'm making it. But unfortunately, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So I don't know what has happened to this Kahoot. One second, sir. One second, and I'm just logging in. If not, we'll take the question automatically, because yesterday also I was trying to put some Kahoot quiz and it was not working on it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe ad block is there. Something ad block is there. I have to remove the ad block. Okay, don't ad block, remove, refresh it. Okay, that might be the reason. Okay. Okay, use another account. Sometimes we have several accounts. Which account we are using, we don't know. Two minutes. I just asked the participants to go to kahoot.it, and I'm asking them to, I don't know, something. I just refresh it. I don't know what is happening. I don't know. Okay, let it be, no problem. I'll just continue with my PPT. I made some quiz yesterday for you guys so that to make a play and make a interesting of this thing. It works generally all the places I play this quiz, it works, but here maybe some error, I don't know. Let it be, because we have an official version only. It's a paid version, it's not the free version also. But I don't know, something happened. Okay, sir. Okay, no problem. We will skip the quiz. It's a Kagut quiz which I want you to play because you will enjoy the Kagut quiz. That is the reason I was trying to put it. Unfortunately, it is not working out. Sometimes, as Murphy says, we made. That is the reason I cross-checked before starting it, but somehow I don't know what has happened. Play. Let me see how it works. Aicte, because unless you have the pin, you cannot play the quiz. So that is the reason. And I am logging in. I have a login ID. I'm using a correct login ID. Okay, let me use the login like here itself instead of email. There we will work on it. Because yesterday night I was spending time in preparing the quiz. Okay, why it is telling your username password is incorrect? Why it is incorrect? Even when I go with Google, it is not going. Okay. Okay, sir, no problem. Something has gone. So maybe let me come final because it's 12 o'clock. I should not take your time and I should not take much of your time. That is also there. And I don't know what is the problem. Maybe I'll just reset it. Maybe I will just. Okay. Though it is there. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. We'll see for 2 minutes if it's 11:54. I don't know. My timing is 11:53. It's coming. Oh, it's 59. Already it's 59. Okay. Kagut password reset. It's giving something. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if it works out. It works. 12 o'clock. Yes, I know it's 12 o'clock. You guys told. I make it a point. I will make it, sir. I will make it. 2
No
minutes.
problem, Professor. You can.
No, I just want to make you.
No issue, Professor.
Okay, okay.
No issue, Professor. You can, if you want, you can continue for some more minutes.
Okay, because this Kagut, I want you to try. That is the reason. I don't know what has happened to Kagut. It is not working out today. Okay, maybe. Okay, finally, 10 more slides. That is really takeaway which I want to cover. Takeaway could be covered only after this thing. And my goodness, that should. Okay, it gone. It gone. I hope so. Hope so. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. I have kept a quiz. What happened to quiz? Yes, assessment level. Only 8 questions, sir. It will be interesting for you to play. Okay, I'm teaching it. Okay, my friends, around how many participants are there? 76 participants are there. Okay, fantastic. It's a really it's a small quiz because just for fun, because I don't want to. We used to have this quiz for the participants, our international delegates. So I thought, okay, let me pay with, because one course I'm offering for Institute of Innovation, International Institute of Innovation. But what happened? The screen itself got blank. My goodness. Oh, it's working. It's working. I got disconnected. I was thinking I am taking class, but finally only I got, sorry. Okay. Extremely sorry, and let me take the pin. So kagud.it, okay, classic. So this is an assessment and evaluation quiz. It's just the fundamentals what I covered. I covered what is assessment. Assessment is nothing but quantitative plus qualitative. Plus I also focused on the characteristics of assessment, validity, reliability, and usability. And table of specification, we make it a Bloom's taxonomy, two-way taxonomy we work, and we also works on the this thing. This is the pin. So I request the participants to go to kagud.it and use this pin 773262 7562. Okay, I can put it kagud.it 7553262 7553262. So kagud.it. So put the pin 7553262. So you give some nickname. Okay, someone has joined. NRVK Narasimha. Okay, fantastic. So let's see. Only 8 questions, sir. Abhilash, Abhishek, Indira, Nagaratinam, Narasimha, Jagan, Indu. Okay, 8 people have joined. Okay, it's a classroom, so it's like a classroom setup. Only 8 people. I just need some more people. It will be good, sir. Kindly join. Feel free. Basim also joined. Okay, fantastic. Okay, Basim has joined, and others will let's see. Ambuja madam is there. Magesh Babu, Rajarajan, Arunachalam, Gopinath, Arish, Imani, Pandey, Kodandaraman, Jayprakash, Venugopal, Kavita, Vijay Kumar, Raj Kamal, Madhu, Raghotaman, Shankaran, Nagaratnam. I'll tell you how to do it. You go to kagud.it. Then you type the pin and then you come. You type the pin and you come. Type the pin. I have given the pin also. I have given and I have given 7553262, sir. 7553262. 14 people have joined. Some 20 people have answered in Mentimeter. It will be good. It's very easy, sir. Don't worry. Even if you're not, it's not the question of right answer. It's a question of right answer with the fastness how you are going to have. Well, that is the spirit which you have to act. Okay. Okay, let me 14 people are there. Let me start the. Okay, the first question. What is the first question? Which target area is generally assessed using a rubric? Rubric is used for what? Is it used for? There are in your screen there will be 4 colors will be there. You have to see my screen. Knowledge, reasoning, performance, or disposition. Which one is assessed using a rubric? I told the rubric is what exactly the rubric I have told you. I have told what exactly the rubric is, and I have discussed what exactly the rubric is and how we are working on it. We have discussed. Okay, 53 seconds still. Okay, 15 people have answered. Which target area? Because generally what you measure in rubric? Is it a knowledge or is it a reasoning? Is it a performance or is it a disposition? Okay, let me see who has answered. Okay, fantastic. Several people have answered. 22 people have answered. So let me see. Okay. 8 people have told the correct answer. Yes, perfectly it is correct. Performance assessment is used rubrics. Performance assessment is only we use rubrics. That is the right answer. Who told right? We will see. Narasimha, fantastic. You are the topper, 948. You, Jagan, Deepak Karavin, Indra, Nagaratnam. You are the top 5 people because it gives only top 5. And I can see survey and question are useful for measuring which target area. It's knowledge or reasoning or performance or disposition. For which one survey and questions are used? And I hope I have told what exactly the terminologies mean. Okay, let me see. So 10 people have told reasoning it's wrong, sir, because disposition, I have told you, knowledge, reasoning is a different genre and performance different. Disposition, or the way in which you the things are arranged or placed, it's your own views. So unga minds, what is in your mindset and but about certain things, that we will get it only from this thing, because a certain perception of your depends upon your inherent quality which cannot be changed. So that is this sort of people means like this. North Indians South Indians are Madrasis because they have South Indians are this mindset, or too much conservative. North Indians are conservative, not so conservatives. Like that, we have a mindset. Certain things are inherently which comes. The survey and questionnaire will try to get the what are disposition in your this thing. That is what you are thinking, inherent quality. What is there? Okay, we'll see who has told. Oh, Narasimha is still topper, but others they didn't answer it. Narasimha only answered correctly. Jagan, Abhishek, Deepak, Aravind, and Indra, they are all did, but they didn't do it correctly. But I am asking Dinesh to ask engineering mechanics question. I am setting a question paper. I am giving. I am asking him to get what I am checking. Whether I am checking a content. If I am asking someone to review my question paper to check whether I have set the question paper right manner or not. So what validity I will be checking, or what whether I will be checking reliability, or what I will be checking. Whether I will be checking a content validity or I will be calculating construct validity. Okay, perfect. It's a content validity. It is checked. It is a content validity which is checked. And who has told correct? Narasimha still topper. Jagan also did correct. And they too only did a correct answer. But rest of them, they are in the same manner. Fourth question. Which of the following statement is true about the assessment? If a test is valid, it is generally reliable. If a test is generally reliable, it is valid. Na chonna already. So if the test is valid, it is obviously reliable. If a test is reliable, if it is generally valid, is it true? Is it unmai? Because I told you already in the class. Yes, correct. If a test is valid, it is reliable. I told you validity means reliability means bullseye adicha at a reliable valid. Everyone doing a wrong answer, but they are doing everyone doing wrong doesn't mean that it is a valid. So that you have to remember. So what it is then? So okay, fantastic. Narasimha did, Deepak Aravind, Jagan, TT, Velkumar, and Vijay Prakash is the highest climber to the 6th place. He did the correct answer first time. So quantify any objects, aspects, or phenomena using stat and sudden and tools is called or quantifying. I told you. 3 terms are very important: measurement, assessment, and evaluation. So or quantify pandrom or object or phenomenon. So with certain and tools, it's called as okay. 19 people are only answering, and let me skip. Correct. It is a measurement, sir. Now, first measurement, assessment, evaluation. If you are quantifying something, it's a measurement. If remember, I told you that is measurement. That is not assessment. I have told you measurement. That is. Narasimha is still your topper. Fantastic, Narasimha. Who's Narasimha? Let me see Narasimha. Velkumar, NVRK, Deepak Aravind, Indra. Jagan, what happened? You got back. Prabha, you are the highest climber. Superb. 6th question. A process of identifying students' learning style, learning difficulty in order to enhance the learning is called learning difficulty, learning style, a process to identify. I'm using the word process. What it is assessment, or is it a measurement, or it is something? Assessment, because I told you process. That's a clue word, process, it's assessment. Narasimha, it's still your topper. Indra Jagan back. TT Velkumar, it is good. And evaluation is a summative process which is measuring students' competency. It's a true or false. Competency measure. Fantastic, it's a true. Oh my goodness, Narasimha, first time you slipped. My friend Jagan came, Indra, Velmurugan, TT, everyone came, and Basim, you are the up to 5 places, you are the highest climber. Basim, you are the highest climber. Okay. Why it is important for the teacher to understand reliability and validity, so that they can determine measure for each quiz, so they can interpret the test score and help parents to interpret the scores, or the college requires a report of all the parameters of the assessment. Okay, so they can interpret and test the score and help parents to interpret the scores. So basic reliability and validity is to interpret the scores. Basic, what is the purpose of score? How, whether it is proper or its consistency is there for the interpretation of the score, and to know the parents also they can interpret in a best manner. For that purpose only we are doing the validity and reliability. Let me see the podium. The third place goes to TT. I don't know who is TT. He is the third prize. Second place is Vel Kumar, and the first place is Jagan. Okay, fantastic, Jagan. What happened, my Narasimha? Narasimha, Shankaran and Indra. Oh, Narasimha, I don't know, somehow you slipped. Shankaran and Indra are the 4th and 5th place. Okay, good. Okay, good. Because practically it is 26% are correct and several difficult questions are 6. Maybe the questions are differently paraphrased. That is also one of the issue which we face. No problem. Okay, let me conclude this thing. So characteristics of evaluation I told. Maybe I can put some case studies also I can give. Taking the question papers, I can give the case studies I can give. The essence of education is to pedagogy should emphasize the literal root of education, which means lead out from oneself. That is the purpose of education. So purpose of education, if you know, you should know how to do the evaluation. So the lecture what I gave was not well received, boring or rubbish, or I want to kill you. I don't know what is your opinion and view, but I did what has been asked, and maybe I can paraphrase it appropriately also. So the characteristics evaluation, characteristics content validity, reliability and usability. And then we have seen some fundamentals, and we have also seen the rubrics. Performance assessment is a rubrics. There are holistic assessment, holistic rubrics and analytic rubrics. The descriptors are there, performance descriptors are there, and the performance are there, and how the standard scales have been used we have discussed. And getting information from internet is thinking fire, because sometimes you can make a question paper quiz from taking objective types from internet, you will land in trouble. Be careful, because it's like taking a water from the fire hydrant, and it does not matter how many resources if you have if you don't know how to use them, because question paper setting is an art for that. Because I have seen several people, we are not focusing, but when we see the question paper, we talk in terms of discrimination index, difficulty index, and we calculate all those things in the audit to give the goods to question paper or not. So sometimes you might be very much excited when you explain the project to the students. You feel like a robo, but the students, they might feel like better muscle. So be careful, because assessment scores, you tell, okay, I have evaluated, I have given a good score, but the students may not get excited. So that is also a big problem. It's not the question of right or wrong way, because all along we have been trained in a different perspective. So that is the reason, and maybe we may be right or we may not be right. I don't know, but it is our future. It is not the question of right or wrong. It is our future, which you have to remember. And I don't know whether I provided the information or misinformation. I cannot write. It's already 12 o'clock. But there is cycle example, because there is knowledge and understanding are different. And I don't know whether I loaded with several steps. Sometimes the initial part, maybe we can reduce it. But in the assessment evaluation, you might come with some perspective, but you might have got some certain spark in certain aspects, which will be addressed appropriately in the subsequent sessions. And my question to the decision maker, whether we win the race, because we are slow, we are steady. I have seen cheat sheet, because here the people are bringing formulas and they may be called bit cheat. We will cheat, shout at the students, but officially it's allowed in US. It's known as a cheat sheet, where they make all the formula, because we are not going to test their memory. We are going to test how they are going to apply the formulas and the views. That is very, very important. So that's why most of the countries, even all the small countries also, like Malaysia and China, they are also doing the same perspective. But unfortunately, we are having a different notion. Any doubts, further comments, unanswered question, unresolved issues, you can ask me. Or thanks for listening and with a great patience, especially prayerful listening. If you have any questions, you can ask me or get connected. This is my email ID and WhatsApp number. You can just mail me, get connected. And if you have any questions, you just mail me. I will be answering. Mostly, even if I take 2 days, 3 days, I will answer all the emails. Sometimes we are, because of the other preoccupied work, we are busy, but we will answer all the answers. So with this, I thank the coordinators, organizers for the patient listening. And if you want, next time we will have some question paper patterns. You give it. We will do some homework before itself. The coordinators can send some question paper, ask them to analyze. And